step on the gas. Welcome to the episode of Jay Leno's Garage. These are two unusual vehicles. We'll tell you about them in just a second. You know, it's kind of fascinating to me with all the American auto companies going out of business. You got Pontiac's gone and Oldsmobile's gone, and of course DeSoto and Plymouth. You got more coming in, which is kind of unusual. Tesla, a brand new automotive company with cars being made right here in the United States. And this one here is another one. These are called the Invader. They're built by Tanom Motors. Three-wheel vehicles using Hayabusa motorcycle engines. They're made in Virginia. It's pretty fascinating. Let's meet the CEO, David Young. David, come on in. How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Are you an old bike guy, an old car guy? Where did this whole idea come from?
Well, I'm actually more of a businessman. My partner had the vision for this back in early 2010.
Okay.
And we've been in business in other areas together, and I liked what I saw and wanted to get involved with it.
Okay. So what we have here is a three-wheeled, essentially, motorcycle.
That's correct.
Okay. And using a Hayabusa with what, about 197, 200
197 horsepower,
Okay.
1344 cc, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because a lot of guys that have Hayabusas, and including me, don't quite have the ability to get all the power on the ground without killing themselves, you know. Whereas this, you can really do it, can't you?
Yes, there's still very much a high-performance vehicle, depending on the gearing that we put on there. I mean, it can top out at 135, 160 mile an hour.
Okay.
So it's still got the performance, but the stability of a three-wheel vehicle is a little bit greater than the two-wheel motorcycle.
Right, right. And of course, a four-wheel is greater than that. But a four-wheel vehicle is way more complicated to get built, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The federal government considers these motorcycles,
Right.
and the testing requirements are for a motorcycle.
But the wife considers it a car.
Yeah.
So that's how
I
you
couldn't
get
get my
around it.
wife anywhere near a motorcycle,
Yeah.
and she loves riding in this vehicle.
Okay, well, there you go. That's pretty good. Now, before we bring in our engineer to go over the technical aspects of it, you know, I get a lot of people come by here with dreamers and engineers, and sometimes engineers aren't businessmen and dreamers aren't engineers. It's hard to get the whole package together. People always come by here with vehicles they want us to test, a homemade vehicle or some kind, and they're going to go into production very soon. They're just waiting for government certification. It's coming any day now, and it never comes because it's hugely expensive.
Yes, sir.
And it's hugely frustrating and time consuming. How long did it take to make this road, EPA, DOT, all that? These are legal vehicles you can buy. You don't have to register this as a home built or anything of that nature.
That's correct.
Okay. So how long does that process take?
Yeah, for us, it's taken 6 years from concept to getting through all the federal testing that you just alluded to, which is extensive. And it is quite a journey for anybody, and particularly for a two-person company that owns a company.
Yeah.
It is quite an investment in time and money to do it.
What was the most frustrating part about getting through government regulations?
Well, most of it was fairly straightforward in terms of the NHTSA testing. There's 18 areas we have to certify or test in. The most difficult for us was in the brakes.
Okay.
And that's because it's a motorcycle standard, so we're stopping a 1,500-pound vehicle in standards that were set up for a 500-pound motorcycle in terms of distance.
Oh, I see. That's
so
what they
there's
look
some
at.
really good brakes on these vehicles.
Yeah.
Even though we have a Suzuki Hayabusa engine in here, which has passed its own EPA emissions testing as a motorcycle engine, because it's in a different format, a heavier vehicle, a three-wheel vehicle, we had to go through all the emissions testing also.
Okay. That is the biggest rear tire I've ever seen in my life.
It is an off-the-shelf Mickey Thompson.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Now, do you have reverse gear? Because a lot of guys build these things. You see them, they got out the light and they got to kind of push it back. Have you got reverse?
We do. We have our own reverse gear. We use the Suzuki Sequential 6 and leave it in first, and it's a mechanical. We engage a lever, and it's a mechanical reverse gear. Backs it up.
Back up. Okay. You don't have to have any car requirements because it's a motorcycle. I noticed no airbag or anything like that.
That's
right?
correct.
You don't need the rear view camera or any of that.
We have a rear view
you have a
camera,
rear
but
view.
it's not required.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
And what do these go for? How much are they?
The TC3, T for Tanom, C for Coupe, and three-wheel, which is the red one behind you, starts at $54,900.
And what is Tanom's? Where does that name come from?
It actually is a name that we made up. It doesn't come from anywhere. We're going to call ourselves Talon Motors, the three-wheel claw of a Talon, but there was too many copyright trademark issues, so we just we like the sound of it now after 6 years.
Very cool. Now, David, your chief engineer is here, the guy who sort of does all the test work on it?
The president of Tanom, who is the chief engineer and the primary visionary of the vehicle.
Well, let's bring him in. David, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sandy, come on in. Sandy Hall, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're a racer, right?
Yes, sir.
Aren't you doing the Baja this week?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Baja 1000 in 2 weeks.
Very cool. So, was this your vision?
Yes. I mean, we were looking for something that was very performance-oriented, but felt like a sports car, motorcycle kind of feel and experience.
This seems to be a whole new market that's opened up with these three-wheel vehicles, because there are a lot of guys, especially in my age group, where the wives say, no motorcycles, no, that's not, no, you're not, no, I'm leaving, get out. Yeah, okay, fine. So they come home, well, oh, I guess that's okay.
Yes,
yeah.
and that's one of the ideas behind this experience.
And the fun thing is you really can put all the power on the ground.
Absolutely.
I mean, I own a Kawasaki H2 and the BMW RR, and those things scare the heck out of me. I can't really make them do what they're capable of doing. I mean, I'm just not good enough. It's fun trying, and I'll probably kill myself, but whereas this, you can get all the power on the ground, can't
Absolutely. You? It's a lot more power to the ground and a lot more comfort and stability.
So now, I've had people come here with other three-wheel vehicles, and ultimately they don't seem to pass the DOT and EPA tests. And what makes this one different from those?
Well, this has passed all the EPA tests and DOT tests, and some of the challenges were the braking system, because right now there is no auto cycle category in the federal section. So we have to meet all the expectations of a motorcycle.
So tell me some of the other challenges that you have in terms of handling and stability.
Well, the handling and stability on this works very well. I mean, it's just over 13 foot long. Wheelbase is about 84 inches in the front. So the stability is really great.
Any driver aids, anti-lock?
No anti-lock at this point. Maybe in 2016 that would be on.
Okay, so that's not required.
No.
So you don't know stability control, none of that?
No.
Oh, thank you.
I like it that way.
Thank you. I've driven some three-wheel vehicles. I go into a corner hard and, I'm sorry, you're going to...
That's the problem.
Things seem to take over and you can't sort of have fun with it.
Right.
So what are we made out of here? We fiberglass, we carbon fiber, what is this?
It's actually RTM and rim. And
what is that?
Well, the RTM parts, like the front hood, for example, is it's a resin molded product that it's kind of like fiberglass, but it's a low pressure, low temperature process.
Lighter, heavier?
It's a little bit lighter, but it's from a production standpoint, it's easier to deal with than having to deal with fiberglass.
Gotcha,
and your production numbers can go up and your cost is moderate.
Okay, so it's basically a modern, better fiberglass.
Correct.
Okay. Is any carbon fiber at all used, or do they use mostly the resin?
Well, right now in this particular model, it has the carbon fiber seats that we have in this particular model.
Since it's a motorcycle, you don't have to have a windshield wiper, correct?
No, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
that's
Very
correct.
Cool. And a 6-speed sequential box. You use the standard gearbox out of the Hayabusa?
Yeah, everything is standard. It's just sequential 6-speed, and this particular model has paddle shifters for clutchless up and down shifting.
Oh, okay. And the Suzuki transmission can take the extra weight?
Yes. We changed the gearing ratio for a couple of reasons. When you change the weight, and increasing the weight from the original concept and design to get the fuel mapping and all that correct, we changed the gearing.
Okay. And explain to me how the reverse gear works. So you came up with your own...
Well, actually, because of the wide tire rear, we wanted to come up with an outdrive that incorporated a reverse gear and eliminated a jack shaft that would typically be on a wide tire motorcycle. Right. So that gearbox works with primarily a gear that engages and disengages to let you get into reverse and out. Any
difference between these two models other than color?
The performance-wise, there's a couple of differences in what's on this particular model. This has a Motec controller.
Okay.
Both of them have Brock's performance pipes. This has adjustable suspension all the way around.
What sort of steering box do you use?
It's produced for us. It's not necessarily proprietary, but it's just produced for our setup.
And it's the first motorcycle with a cup holder.
Yes, that's true.
You gotta have your cup holder.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
Gotta have the cup holder. Well, it looks cool. I mean, you know, like I said, I've had people come by with similar looking vehicles, and a year later I follow up and the company folded or they couldn't get the EPA. I know just how frustrating it is to go through all
It's extremely frustrating.
go through all those government tests.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Okay, so your radiators from the Suzuki are in the front or on the side here?
No, we actually don't use the Suzuki radiator system because some of the problems that, well, with the center mount engine, you don't get the airflow that you would typically do on a motorcycle. So we have something that's about 5 times larger than the original radiator, and all the air intakes and air dams allow airflow to come through the engine compartment.
Okay.
And actually this right here is a heat extractor from the top of the engine compartment.
Okay, gets heat out of it.
Yeah.
All right. So no radiator or anything in front?
No, sir.
Does this open at all?
Well, you can take it off, but it doesn't open.
Oh, I mean, it's not a luggage area or
No.
anything of that nature. Okay. And you use what? Do you use the standard Suzuki gauge package or?
Well, in this
Oh, no,
particular
yeah.
model, it has the
Yeah,
Motec
that's right,
electronics.
yeah. And you have storage capacity on each side here?
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
Can you open that up? Let's see what it
Sure.
looks like. Oh, yeah, you can go away for a couple of hours. Get your toothbrush in there and you're all set to go. I guess in some states you need a helmet, in other states you don't. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Currently, there's 45 states that don't require a helmet,
Right.
and some of the states that do require a helmet in this coupe model.
Do you get a lot of guys that just, it is different to drive than an automobile, obviously.
Yes, I mean, the functionality is the same in the
Yeah.
sense that you've got, the same setup operationally as a car, but it definitely is a different experience.
Can we take it for a ride?
Sure we can.
This was probably the one to take, isn't it?
I think so.
I think this is the one to take. Think we're ready to go for a ride? Let's take her up in the hills, see how she does.
Yeah.
There's no car engines that rev like bike engines. What a brake cell! Again, the red line is 14 grand on this motor. is pretty cool. It takes a while to learn. You know, if I didn't know, I'd feel like I was in a four-wheeler because I'm not sure anybody can hear us when we were talking before. So I'm probably going to repeat myself because it is so loud. And, you know, I'm short shifting it because I think I'm in a car, so I'm shifting at $6 grand. Then I realize I've got 14 grand sitting on the tach. And the shifter goes sequentially forward. I'm used to pull back first, so it takes a little while, but it's very controllable. You know, that rear tire is so wide when you feel it start to move around and start to slide, so it doesn't catch you and whip you around. And it's very taut, it's very tight. You know, my problem with a lot of three-wheelers, I feel like I'm sitting on a sawhorse. I'm sitting up high on it. And so psychological, I feel like I'm either going to fall forward or fall to the side. Whereas this, you're down in the vehicle. Brake pedal's a little soft. Probably could go for a harder brake pedal. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. You've got all kinds of power. I'm not sure how many wires would go for this exhaust system. It seems a little loud for.
Yeah, we have a quieter version.
Yeah. You know, if you're going through a divorce, you don't want to talk to the wife. It's fantastic because it's plenty loud. But you've got all kinds of different variations there.
Yes.
But really tight, really taut. Even when we turned around went over some curbs and nothing scrapes, nothing bottoms out. We'll take it up on the freeway. I mean, I'm never out of second gear in this thing. Second gear goes to 14 grand. It does seem like it's geared a little high. I feel like it's geared for high speed. Because something like this, all the fun is between 40 and 110.
Right, and it would be easy to change that.
You don't need to go 160 miles an hour. No. That would be irresponsible. But, you know, 0 to 100 in 3-4 seconds, that's okay. If you live in a hilly area and you need to get out of traffic quickly, that's fantastic. But, we still have to do a burnout later. But let's, as I always say on this website, let's take it up on the freeway and see how it cruises. We have the fitted luggage. At least let's see how practical it is to go for a freeway drive in this thing. Come on, let's do it. Burnout here. We have to justify this because these are about what, $56,000, something like that? $56,000. So what do you get? You get supercar performance. For example, I have a Kawasaki H2 that will probably take my McLaren P1. The McLaren P1 costs $1 million. Kawasaki's about $25,000. So what you do is you kind of combine those two. You get superbike performance in a car. Because let's face it, there aren't a lot of guys, and I'm certainly one of them, that can make a superbike do what it does. Plus, when you make a mistake in a superbike, it's painful. Ow, it hurts. Ow, when you fall off, ow. Falling off at my age is horrible now. But, so what you get is you get a vehicle that has a 14,000 RPM red line. You've got supercar performance, a Hayabusa, a Kawasaki ZX-14. Those will go 0 to 200 in like 18 seconds, some crazy thing like that. So this kind of combines the best of both worlds. I like this because you sit in it, not on it. It's extremely comfortable, and the power is really linear. You can feel what it's doing at all times. You know, when you have a super bike and that rear wheel gets out of control, you gotta be really good to make it do. And I've scared myself a few times. I've been lucky. But this is. It makes a lot of, when you look at it in that context, is it expensive? Sure. Is it expensive as a McLaren or a Ferrari? No, but you get an equal level of performance, certainly acceleration. You're not getting some of the sophistication, of course, but that's okay, because what we really want is horsepower and acceleration. So what kind of, you want to do a rolling burnout? What do you like?
My rolling burnout's
fine. We'll try the rolling burnout. See, those kind of noises are a lot more expensive than a Lamborghini or a McLaren or a Ferrari. So you can do it all day in this thing because what do you need? A chain and a tire, and you have one ball tire. So there, so you got an extra tire.
What a deal.
Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you
It's
so
a really
much.
cool product. Really good luck with this. And as we said, it's certified.
Yes.
It's legal. You can buy them. It isn't one of those deals. It's not a kit car. It's nothing.
No.
It's a full-fledged manufactured vehicle made right here in the United States. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Cool. See you guys next week.
See you.
Mm-hmm.